Well, you see what I get from the refreshment counter. Oh boy, popcorn and hot dogs and ice cream and oh boy, sparkling ice cold Coca-Cola. Oh boy, that tastes good. Have you been to the refreshment counter?
Remember, your favorite snack will taste especially good with world-famous ice-cold Coca-Cola.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I feel like I get too close, I put you right down.
Custom Underground.
Hello, this is Custom Underground episode 8.
8.
And for all you customizers out there, you should be scared. Very scared. We have our reasons. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, let's...
This week, we do have some other announcements to make. We have our official
Very
shirts
nice.
out. We have stickers. You can even make cool little custom underground signs. We have phone cases. And yes, I upgraded the Stylish Assassin coffee mug to a custom underground mug.
I'm
We're doing
jealous.
a little DX here. We're pimping our stuff, but it is really quality. It's really great, and we appreciate any support you give us. We want to build this as a community. We want you to be part of the community and get some of our gear. So
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that looks sweet. I like that Beavis and Butthead design. I'm waiting for all my stuff besides my stickers. I'm like, man. But looking at that sign, you need to make a Lodi figure. Now you can have Lodi hold it up.
there you
Is
go.
that
That would
Lodi
be a
in
great idea.
WCW? So yeah, as Pat mentioned earlier, I think we got a teaser for a big surprise next week. I think for the customizers in the competition and for all those who've been eliminated, you're going to want to tune in because this is going to be a big announcement that I think will change the entire tournament because as Pat has said multiple times, this is still a show. You know, and I think that's really important because this isn't just a custom tournament. This is something first of its kind. So we got a surprise for you guys. And yes, you're going to want to stay tuned. Other than that, you know,
Excellent.
gift of the gods.
We also have some breaking news for this show. Thanks to our friends at Ring Bling Customs, Gareth can hook you up with some very special shirts. Mad Reaper, if you'll bring them up.
Yep. Here we go.
Now, these are rough pictures. They're obviously going to be polished off and trimmed up and everything, but we just wanted to show
They look
this
sweet.
great picture. Is it up?
Yep. Don't you see it?
Okay. It's loading on my side, that's why I was
Oh,
asking.
okay.
So,
I was like,
there you have it. We have custom underground shirts available now. Ring Bling Customs on Instagram, also on Facebook. Look up Gareth. He's in the Wrestling Customs 101. So
He's
check
in
him
Custom
out.
Underground. You know, check out the group if you like the page, which I know a lot of you do. I think we got like 200 plus likes. We're growing, but the group we only got like 35 people in the group. So join the group too because this is really where, you know, the gems are dropped. I think. Yeah, but I don't know if you guys can see it. You guys should be able to see it. If not, I'll plug in the image here. But we got the Custom Underground shirts up top, then the Custom Club ones underneath. Really cool. Looking forward to them. And I guess speaking of, while I have my screen shared, this would be a good time to go over round 2 again. We're really excited because by the time, well, this comes out today, we're filming this a little later, and you guys will have 2 weeks left. So for the round 2, again, it ends on October 15th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, USA. North America. And yeah, so round two, do we want to break it down? I mean, I feel like we didn't talk about anything last week besides the judging because we were already like so long-winded about it, and we were really stoked about it. That episode's like an hour 20 minutes long. So it's yeah. Let's talk about round two real quick. We're really excited for it. I mean, the amount of talent inside this. I know the NWF sold us El Generico figure. I was really stoked for him. Like, that's such a flawless figure, and I kept looking at it over and over again. And I also saw something on his page that we should talk about sometime. Maybe we should put out like a poll question after the show here. The NWF, I think it was his page, had a thing about like top 5 pet peeves that customizers always hear, and that's that's really good because yeah, I got like top 8 of them, so we should definitely have him on, or have everyone on. Shit, like everyone talk about your problems with potential clients. And maybe we could figure out some sort of best practices across the board because there's nothing that pisses me off more than when someone asks you what head they've used or what head you've used and hasn't
Did you
liked the
completely
post.
break down this figure, everything that you did? Tell me how you painted it, and so I can just do it myself instead of buying yours.
Right.
No.
And
I mean,
that's not so bad, but when they do it without saying thank you, without doing it, without complimenting it, without even liking the effing post, it's like, you
exactly.
idiot, do you think I'm going to waste my time to answer your dumbass question when someone who would ask the same one be like, oh man, what a badass figure, like, what head did you use, if you don't mind me asking? I'll, of course, answer that. Like, I have no, hey, I could give you guys my head cast, I can give you guys my parts, I don't care, and I'm pretty confident in, how every customizer has their own style. Look at our damn tournament, like, everyone has their own style, which is amazing. Dogcrack's got his own style. These are artists. These aren't just some person painting freaking figures in their basement, you know what I mean? Like, these guys are... The NWF's got his own form. Stavros has got his own form. Rocket Jabroni's got his own form. Angel's got his own form. Beyondo's got his own form.
Only Bone Dust.
Lonely Bone Dust. All of them. XIV. Every one of us has their own type of style, and there's something that makes it really unique. Showstopper, in and of himself, has his own style. Like, this is something that can't be duplicated, so it's not about the parts, but it's about how you ask. If you guys are one of these guys listening,
Manners. You have to have manners in whatever you do in life, and that should always be the case.
It's etiquette, and it's cool to say, hey, someone's got a badass custom, and it's cool if you want to make one, but ask and compliment them and say, why do you want to make it? Obviously, you think it's pretty cool if you want to effing copy it. You know what I mean? Like, so, say how badass
Please
it
and
is.
thank you will get you very far in life.
Agreed. So, sorry, I didn't mean to freak out. But we need to have some guys on next time because I think it's really great. Yeah, it's really a good subject to talk on, and I think it's something that we could really touch on for the customizers as well. Anyways, NWF, shout out to you. I'm glad you sold your figure, man. Really happy. Dogcrack 2 sold his, which is an amazing figure. And we really hope that all of you guys do because... Lonely Bone Dust, if you want to sell that love parka, I know of an owner. But, awesome figures, guys.
Lonely Bone Dust is going to keep his and put him in a federation that he has, so
I know.
that's exciting.
I was sad about that. It makes me want to really make a love parka, though, and, yeah. Let's talk about Rocket Jabroni versus Stavros. That should be a really interesting matchup. What do you think about that, Pat?
I think we're seeing so many matches that, again... in round 1, should have been final matches. Now we're in round 2. I mean, these are like super mega matches, and I'm excited for every single matchup. I don't see a matchup, especially on the professional side, that, it could go either way. I mean, someone's going to hit a home run, and I think as much as you saw the scoring was tight last time, I think it's going to be tighter this time. Fair warning. This is the second round. We will be a little tougher on the judging, so just keep that in mind. We love each and every one of you. Don't hate us for being honest.
Yeah, I think we both of us realized we probably were a little too lenient. However, I would stand, and I think you would agree with me. I think we'd both stand behind our 50s for Rocket Jabroni because, damn, that figure upped the level. I was never, and Rocket Jabroni's amazing, but that blew me away because I was like, wow. When you know how much work went into it, that's wow. All of everyone's did, but I mean, Rocket Jabroni's was like, holy shit, like what? So maybe do we want to talk about Rocket Jabroni? I think keys to victory going on to the next round is do exactly what he did last time. I think picking a character that's that complex just boosts it out of the window. He really set the relative bar for complexity with that figure. Like, and for as complex as Beyondo's Ultimo Dragon was, and as clean as it was, the complexity in comparison, and that's what made Angel lose too. Quite frankly, with Stavros, Angel's Drago head was amazing. I loved it. Man, he upped his sculpting skills from all of his previous customs as well. But then Stavros with his complexity on that Max Moon. Wow. So complexity, I think, would keep it. Rocket Jabroni, keep it yourself. Stavros, I think the same thing, man. Don't be afraid to sculpt. You're a killer, man. Like, embrace it. And I would say, hopefully.
Don't be afraid to take a chance because
Yeah.
this is the second round, and as much as the first round was difficult, the second round is going to be even more difficult because we have people that have already beaten somebody and you've already beaten somebody, and you got to take it to the next level. So don't be afraid to take a chance. With that Max Moon, that was a first sculpt, so you take the chance, do it, and don't leave anything on the table, and don't look back and say, I wish I would have done that.
Do you, without saying who, do you know who he's working on?
I think a lot of people are kind of up in the air, so I'm hoping next week, in fact, we're going to make this official. Next week, we will announce who everyone's working on. We're going to make them commit. We're going to, knock on their doors and say, okay, it's time to, because I think it's fair that everyone in the second round should know who everyone's working on, and only one possible double at this point, so that's really good.
I mean, what about, what ECW wrestler would you really like to see out of this tournament?
Well, let's see. I want something, complex like tie-dye tights from ECW,
Yes.
the Dudleys, an RVD singlet that was really well done. I think that would be great. Someone maybe to sculpt a cool head.
That would be cool, yeah.
Looking for things like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Sandman during his Raven feud. That would be pretty cool. Like, I want to see a bloody figure. We should maybe in a future season, we should do a round of a bloody wrestler, because I think it could either be done very poorly, like the old Figures Inc. line was, or it could be done really well, where it's like a masterpiece.
Like Dogcrack did on one of his figures that we were looking on the site.
Really, I got to check that
We'll
out.
have to try to post that on social media so you guys can all see that.
Yeah, I know he did a Sabu earlier that was badass, and that's probably why he probably would stay away from Sabu again, but Sabu is one of my favorites. I'm actually going to be working on one as soon as I get through all my shit. But then, so Stavros, yeah, that's his key.
On your list of 100 things that you're going to make, it's on there?
My Pentagon OM Basics will be out next week, for sure. The NWF, what is his key to victory? I mean, he had a flawless figure as well. I think that's another thing that his complexity was insane, but compared to Rocket Jabroni, both him and Ross Davis, really, quite frankly, they both had very complex figures. But it was one of those things where Rocket Jabroni really, I think, set the bar for that round. And I'm not saying this for any, favoritism or anything, but just as far as the facts, that was such a complex custom that I think for the NWF, he needs to do another clean figure against Dogcrack. This is a matchup I think is the closest. It's scary because it's like, man, this is gonna be tough. This is, and Dogcrack. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
This is going to be the ultimate match. This is my match of the tournament. we have those matches of the week. This would be one of them. Absolutely. They're going to both have to be flawless. They're going to have to put a lot of detail into their figures. And I can't wait to see what they produce. This is, an awesome matchup. You just can't say enough about how talented these guys are and how great figures they made in round one. And, they're going to have to bring it. And it could go either way. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
It really could.
And it's going to be close in scoring, I have a feeling.
Yeah, it really could. And then, I completely second that. I mean, Dogcrack, all he has to do is beat Dogcrack too, and continue doing as crazy of a custom as he possibly can. And that's one thing I would say about all of these guys is that they're pushing themselves. Dogcrack, for the first round, coincidentally had, I'd say, the second highest scored figure, and that was next to Rocky Jabroni, who they both picked the same wrestler. And it's going to be crazy to see. Maybe they pick the same wrestler again this round. Who knows? But we're really excited.
Which brings me to one more point really quickly. Make sure you look back at some of those photos, the clearer, the better ones, because that does give you an edge. If your photo's clearer and just more crisp, we can get a better feel for your figure. It looks more professional. So again, go back, take a look at some of the photos, take a look at the photos that you took, and just work it out a little bit, whether it's a lighting issue or whether, we just want you to prevent the absolute best photo possible so that we can judge it the best that we possibly can, because this round is going to be super, super, super close on a lot of these matchups. And, any little edge you can get, you're going to need it.
Absolutely, yeah. And those, if you look at Dogcrack's pictures, Rock Jabroni's pictures, like the NWF, I mean, they all have very clean figures, and it's no coincidence that we were able to really see their figures that clear. Next one, Lonely Bone Dust, getting past his first round on a bye, but it would have been an amazing match had his opponent been able to submit his custom, because Lonely Bone Dust still brought it hard. So we're really excited. Him against Damien, or, as the updated bracket shows, he's representing ECW Figure Fed. I think this is going to be a really tough one, because I think Damien's really improving a lot, and this is going to be something where he's growing a lot. And then Lonely Bone Dust is someone who I think is really coming into his own style as well too, because his La Parka is amazing. And
I was really impressed by
someone
Lonely
comment
Bone
on.
Dust. I didn't.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I seen someone comment on his Instagram or whatever about, like, why is La Parka fat? And I'm like, because La Parka is. Like, why? That was a perfect body choice, and not fat in a bad way, but like, that body choice was spot on for La Parka. And anyone who thinks differently, I don't know what La Parka you're watching, but
I think it was a spot-on figure. I think that I didn't really know about him. That's what I was going to say before this contest. But now seeing him, I think he is a really good customizer. I think he's really, like you said, coming into his style. I think that, it's going to be tough for Damien of the ECW Figure Fed. But he's another great customizer. And I hate to keep repeating myself, but this is a matchup that could really go either way. If Damien hits a really great figure, he'll probably end up taking it. And if Lonely Bone Dust can put another home run there, he could end up taking it. So these matches are going to be really, really, really tough. And that's why I was giving you the clue about the pictures, because there's a lot of matches that could go either way. And it's going to be really close in the scoring, I have a feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the Jack Simpson versus Jordan XIV Elite Figs, who, shout out to him, he's wrapping up his giveaway here with the Son of Havoc. Son of Havoc actually announced the giveaway, so that was really cool. Versus Jack Simpson.
What an awesome thing to have Son of Havoc announce the contest and to show the figure and to be so approving of it. I mean, that is a way to kick off a contest. Congratulations to Jordan. We're fans of yours here on the show. You're a fan of ours, and we appreciate that very much also.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was yawning there. And then Jack Simpson, Jack Simpson surprised me last round. I didn't know if he was gonna be able to put up much of a fight. He still didn't absolutely finish his custom, which I think is gonna be his biggest key here. Jordan's gonna finish a custom, and he's gonna have very clear pictures. So Jack, if you are watching this, your key is to finish your figure and have the best picture possible to try to stop Jordan from advancing. And yeah, we're really excited for this matchup. This is gonna be a great one.
From what we saw of the figure, it looked like it was a very good start to the figure. So I think, he has a lot of potential. We'll see if he can finish one and, how great it is. But other than the little bit sloppiness on the wrist, he could clean that up. Other than that, it looked like a really great start to the figure. Jordan can obviously hit a pretty good figure, so he's going to need to bring it for this round, and we'll see what Jordan's able to do, what Jack's able to do, and who knows?
Absolutely. I think even Luke Scott, I know he got passed over here against Damien, but he had a very great suicide as well, and I'm excited to see what else comes from him in the future, because he did the same figure as Jack Simpson, but he really, if him and Jack Simpson were going up against each other, Luke would have wiped him out, because he did finish him, and I think maybe Jack might have picked a little bit too much of a complex wrestler or character going into the first round, but now I think he's hopefully going to adjust it accordingly. Yeah, so that's our round 2 matchups. Again, those are due October 15th, 11:59 p.m. Central Time, U.S., and so let's shoot it back to, let's go back to Pat. I'll stop sharing my screen. Cool.
And again, next week, we have a special surprise for you. You should all be scared. I'm going to keep plugging it. We're going to drop some cryptic messages on our social media, but stay tuned for next week. It's going to be very exciting.
Yes, very exciting, and yeah, it's like Katy Perry said. I think she has a song about it. But let's keep that cryptic. So let's go on to the next thing. What else do we have to talk about? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well,
I think.
what about the fact that WWE has a champion? He's the Universal Champion. His name's Brock Lesnar, and for the rest of the year, he is booked for one house show.
Where is that at?
It's near his hometown in Canada, so he's not going to drop the belt. They've already said that. So you have basically a champion that's going to be off TV for at least 3 months.
I'm surprised he's not going to be at TLC over there in Minneapolis, because that's where he went to school at. That's surprising. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I just think it's poorly booked. I mean, okay, obviously they have a match planned for him down the road. Let that person win the belt, keep it for a while, and then bring back Brock, maybe have him beat him and, do the feud. I just think it's poor booking to have a title off the TV for that long. Now, John Cena, has, I think, one program left, and then he's going to be off TV, but he's not a champion. And, I'm a fan of bringing these veterans in to help out younger talent or guys that are just coming into, WWE and everything and getting them over. I think that's a great thing. And if you don't have a program for them, that's fine. Let John Cena sit at home, But if you're the Universal Champion, I just think you should be on TV. They've done a horrible, horrible job with that belt overall. I wish Finn Balor had never gotten injured.
Yeah.
And maybe it'd be a different story.
They need to bring back Finn, I think, if they end up letting Braun end up winning it somewhere down the line. I think Finn vs. Braun would be a pretty fun match, but I think the more likelihood would be Samoa Joe taking it, and then having Finn and Samoa Joe doing their rivalry in the main card. I think my biggest problem with it is that, I think it's working, though. I think they're building up Brock to be this pay-per-view monster, because now every single pay-per-view, we're tuning in to be like, he's going to lose, and he doesn't. And so then you tune in again to see, Is he gonna lose? And it's the exact same thing with Mike Tyson. It's the exact same thing with Ronda Rousey. And there, unfortunately, I still agree. It is bad booking. It is. It sucks to have a title off. I completely agree with all of that. I do feel like it's working though, because I feel like people are like, "Oh, Braun's gonna whip his ass," and then Braun loses, and it's like, "Oh man, what are they going to do? Like, when is he gonna lose?" And the bad thing is they can only keep up a streak for so long, until he's gonna be like, "Okay, yeah, let's lose it," or until he quits. I wonder how many people still buy WWE pay-per-views and not using the network. That'd be interesting to find out.
That would be an interesting to find out. I mean, it's just such great value for the network. You get all of, WCW, and you get the NXT. You get all these exclusives. Now they're dropping some shows, which I'm very disappointed with. But and then you get all the pay-per-views. Even if all they had on there was just the pay-per-views, $10 for a pay-per-view every month. That's not so bad.
That's a steal. Yeah. That's a steal. And I mean, I come from the UFC land where it's like $70 a month plus. And what was WWE's used to be? I mean, they're way more than 10. So it's really amazing. But I wonder, like, how much of a pay-per-view draw, can someone be in WWE's new business model? I don't know. I'd like to see though. Asuka is coming. Is that how you say her name? I think it is. Anyways, I'm going to be at TLC, so I'm going to see her debut on the Raw brand, which I'm pretty excited for. And I'm awesome. Excited. She deserves it. She deserves it. I hope they keep the streak alive. It worked out that she got injured and was able to relinquish the belt versus losing it like they've done with every other NXT champion.
Worked out, I guess. I mean,
yeah, it worked out. It's not a good thing she got injured, but hey, those promos are badass though. Like when they show her coming, I'm like, they remind me of the old Mysterio promos back in the early 2000s. Like when they were showing his mask and they're like, he's coming or whatever, coming soon. Which will be exciting.
Do you think Raw was the proper brand for her to be on?
I think so. Just because I feel like the SmackDown ladies have I think the SmackDown ladies are going to be getting Paige, and I think with Charlotte and Becky and I guess Naomi kind of too. I mean, like, they have a good solid stable over there, whereas I feel like over on the Raw brand, until they really start packaging Bayley correctly, it's just kind of the Sasha and Alexa show, Oh,
man. Yeah, I wish they'd really get off this we're punishing Bayley thing.
Yeah, me too. I like her a lot.
I like her. I think her gimmick really works. Someone who, came from being one of us to being a superstar. I mean, how can you book that improperly and yet they managed to do it? I think that's a real shame.
I do too. And that's where I think, if they come and bring her, Asuka, to Raw, I think that would be very... it'll really round out the stable. I mean, I think the biggest problem right now with the WWE, as far as their declining viewership, I think it's the fact that they have separate brands. Why do you have separate brands when the people that automatically puts yourself in a box? You don't allow yourself to have a Styles versus Roman match or a Jinder versus Roman match, which I think would actually be pretty effing sweet, because I actually am starting to like Jinder as a heel and as a champion, and despite his wrestling ability, he's learning on the job and he's doing a damn good job of it, but he's a good heel. Like, he's a damn good heel. Like, when you get a chant that says that's too far, that's right where you need to be, like as far as I'm concerned. So I think the biggest problem right now is that they have separate brands, because you really limit yourself. Look at how cool it was to see John Cena go over there and wrestle Jinder, and then come over here and wrestle Roman. Like, I understand.
That's an interesting take. I can't necessarily disagree with it.
I think and this might be completely wrong, but I just feel like, when you have a product and you're like, you can't assume that your buyers are going to be interested in both brands or continuously watch both brands, especially when they're back to back. Like back in the day when Raw was on Mondays and SmackDown was on Thursdays or Fridays, it was a little easier to split up that. And I guess this leads into a whole new
Now you have
conversation.
Raw, SmackDown, NXT,
Yeah, back to back to back, and it leads
Cruiserweight
into
205.
yeah. And it's like, well, how many people are actually watching it even live now, anyways, on TV? I know, like NXT and 205, not possible, but like, how many people are actually watching Raw and SmackDown live? And if that's the case, I'm not saying don't make it live, but how cool would it be to be able to have some superstars, like, kayfabe their free agency, like Cena did, and go ahead and go over to the Raw brand and match up with some of their superstars. Because I think that would be the coolest thing. You need to have that competition in order to provide, the competitors for fresh matchups. I actually personally like the Finn versus Bray angle. I think it played out really too fast, and I think they've pretty much
Way
done
too
everything. They've done everything they need to do with it now, which sucks.
I don't understand that. You give us Dean Ambrose and you give us Miz for 9 months, and then you take something that's gold,
Yeah.
like Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor, and you rush it. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, that's
I want to give that Home Alone face.
Yeah. That's what bums me out. That's what I'm actually doing tonight. I'm hitting up about an hour away. There's a Raw house show tonight, so I'm gonna head over there. Hopefully check out Finn and Bray. I mean, I would have loved. You guys know I'm a big Vampiro fan. I would have loved back in the day to see like Bray versus Vampiro. Like, how sick would that have been? Like, I think Bray's an underutilized talent. They needed to do creepier angles with him. I think like. It's just WWE's writing. I don't know. It is bad booking, but it's hard because when you have someone like Brock Lesnar that people tune in to lose or watch lose, that's the whole Floyd Mayweather complex. Like, it works. It's a recipe that works.
And, part of the problem is if you go on Twitter and you talk to the Road Dogg, if you say anything, even, like properly critique, positively critique, in the right, he just calls you Mark, and then he says that you don't understand things, and he blocks you. So if you're not listening to the fans, and enough fans are saying this, then that's the problem. You got to listen to the people who are paying the bills.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there probably are a lot of armchair bookers, but it's not fair to anything in life to, go ahead and put a blanket on everyone. And there's a lot of smart people out there that can book a lot better, I feel like. Speaking of which, yeah, our custom underground stickers. You guys should get some. Maybe we should do some giveaways.
This fellow, we're getting long-winded here, so I'm just promoting some of our great merchandise that's available for all you guys.
Yes.
I think we don't have a lot more for you this week. We appreciate you tuning in each and every week. Thank you. Next week, breaking news that will change the very foundation of everything that you possibly know. So tune in. This has been episode 8. I am the chosen one. That right there is the Mad Reaper, and we will see you next week.
Custom Underground.